Hey guys, thank you for watching the SlatRock channel. Today we present you with 12 heel turns in WWE that left negative impact on wrestlers and fans. Hulk Hogan's unexpected heel turn in WCW changed the face of professional wrestling in 1996. It was so refreshing to see Hulk along with Hall and Nash rule in a new avatar. While this was a huge success, on the other hand, there are heel turns that should have never left the creative meeting at all. The kind of turns that make you think, boy, I hope someone got fired for that blunder. The following are 12 heel turns in WWE that shouldn't have happened. Number 12, Mick Foley, Raw, May 8, 2006. Present-day wrestling fans know Mick Foley as a lovable wrestling legend whose image has softened considerably from the fearlessly hardcore grappler of his prime. But even in his later years, WWE and TNA both tried fruitlessly to turn Foley heel on occasion. One such attempt came in WWE's ECW restart, where Foley was aligned with a heel edge against some of ECW's old guard. Not only did the turn fail to make sense given his recent blood feud with Edge, but fans also didn't want to boo Foley and had little rooting interest in his poorly defined opposition. Foley feuding with Edge and then all of a sudden being buddies with him is so Russo-ish booking it's not even funny. Turning Tommy Dreamer would have still offered legitimacy without robbing fans of someone they wanted to cheer for. Number 11, Tatanka, WWF 1994. A babyface should only ever turn heel when they start to lose their popularity. What would be the point of throwing away all that potential merchandise revenue by making a top-selling hero spite fans? This was the trap that the Native American Tatanka fell into. It was obvious he needed some kind of refresh, but he couldn't be a heel with his current character. WWF would need to give him an entirely new character in order to turn him heel. They didn't do that though, opting instead to make him turn his back on his American friends, Lex Luger specifically, and sell his soul to the million-dollar corporation of Ted DiBiase. Going ahead with the turn at the 1994 SummerSlam would be a mistake. Fans weren't interested in heel Tatanka, having enjoyed him as a babyface since his original debut. Fans just couldn't bring themselves to hate someone who had spent years being such a do-gooder. The heel run flopped, of course, and Tatanka never fully recovered. Number 10, Michael Cole, WWE 2010. The Michael Cole heel turn of 2010 might not have been so bad if WWE hadn't escalated it to points no one could possibly tolerate. The concept of a heel announcer has been part of professional wrestling for decades. Paul Heyman and Bobby the Brain Heenan did an excellent job of it. What made them different was that they weren't the main commentator. Michael Cole, on the other hand, was the voice of WWE, narrating the action for the fans watching at home. Turning Cole heel and making him belittle the babyfaces quickly made watching Raw even more of a chore than usual. Things were made even worse when Cole and Jerry Lawler were given 13 minutes, and that's without entrances, to have a match at WrestleMania 27. It was impossible to salvage and turned many fans off. What makes Cole a unique choice for this list is that he had potential. If he wasn't the main voice on commentary, and if he hadn't been put in long matches, then he could have enjoyed some success as a heel commentator. Number 9, Jim Ross, WWF 1996. As great as Jim Ross is, it's sad how many failed heel turns he was put through. Good old JR was fighting the need to be wearing a cowboy hat at all times in 1996, and Vince got the brilliant idea to turn the character of JR into an angry and bitter caricature of the real JR. It was one thing to make him old school and cranky, but the mistakes kept flowing with a full-blown heel turn. The worst part of it is that it was only done to bring in the new versions of Diesel and Razor Ramon. The original Diesel and Razor Ramon, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, had been working with WCW for a while at this point. JR was left looking like an idiot as he preached about how his versions of the characters would be better than the original ones. WWF attempted to turn Ross heel again in 1998, pairing him up with Dr. Death Steve Williams and generating absolutely no heat. The reason the heel turns never worked was because fans truly love JR, a concept that Vince McMahon can't seem to understand. Number 8, Jeff Hardy, 2003. After working his way up the ladder in WWE alongside his brother Matt as a tag team wrestler, Jeff Hardy began a singles run in an eye-opening ladder match against The Undertaker for the world title. Hardy lost, but gained momentum from added exposure and earning The Undertaker's on-screen respect. While many fans recall that match, few remember his brief heel turn soon thereafter, in which he would be a sore loser and attack babyface opponents including Rob Van Dam, Booker T, and Shawn Michaels after losses. The gimmick was dropped within weeks and would have been better suited for his brother, who was more of a natural heel anyway. Number 7, Alberto Del Rio, WWE 2015. Fire up the $9.99 WWE Network and watch the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view from 2015 and you'll have your ears shattered at the return of Alberto Del Rio. The cheering only intensified when the avenging aristocrat defeated John Cena to become the new WWE United States Champion. Unfortunately, this was really the peak of his return. Alberto was joined by Zeb Coulter the very next night on Raw, and the pair created Mex America. This was hardly what the fans who cheered Del Rio's return so hard the night before had been hoping for. The story only continued to fall apart, and it became obvious WWE didn't have any clue how to handle Del Rio. Del Rio stood emotionless in the ring as Coulter worked the fans and looked like he wanted to be anywhere else and doing anything else. It's not much of a surprise that Del Rio decided to leave WWE without spending even 1 year in the promotion, especially after the next big idea for the Mexican superstar was to join the League of Nations. Number 6. Rikishi, WWF 2000. WWF fans loved it when Rikishi would put on his glasses and dance alongside Too Cool, but there was nothing to love about the heel run of the bad man Rikishi in 2000. WWF booked themselves into a corner with a whodunit angle involving Stone Cold Steve Austin being run over at the Survivor Series the previous year. The solution? Rikishi. His excuse was he did it for The Rock. Things took an even weirder turn when Triple H was revealed to be the mastermind behind the attack, pushing Rikishi to the side. No one wanted to boo Rikishi, and his heel turn was too sudden and awkward to accept. There are times when shocks can work, but not when the storyline doesn't make any sense. Rikishi was supposed to be a great heel, but instead his career took a nosedive. The heel turn was made even more pointless when Triple H came along and took all the heat for himself. Number 5. Linda McMahon, 2005. Linda McMahon was always portrayed as the sane voice of reason in the often crazy, diabolical McMahon family and storylines. In 2005, however, that all changed when Linda McMahon shocked the world by turning heel and firing Jim Ross. She even kicked him in his balls, for God's sake. The worst part is that there really was no follow-up to her heel turn, and Linda would soon disappear. Number 4. Sting, WCW 1999. WWE insisted their announcers reinforce the idea that Sting was always the hero of WCW during his feud with Triple H leading to the match at WrestleMania 31. The truth is that Sting wasn't always the hero, and it was never a good idea to try and turn him. WCW was a complete mess by 1999. Hulk Hogan finally began to shed the stale NWO character and put on the red and yellow again. A rejuvenated babyface, Hulk needed a strong heel to go against at the end of the year. The brains at WCW decided that the man called Sting was the right choice, even though he'd been the savior of the promotion for years. The fans were hardly soured on Sting when he turned heel on Hogan to win the WCW title at Fall Brawl. Sting continued to be cheered almost in defiance of the booking decision, even though WCW intended him to be the top heel. Sting quickly returned to his babyface character, and his heel run was deemed a complete failure. Number 3. Steve Austin, WWF 2001. The Steve Austin heel turn of 2001 was so bad that even Austin has said that he should have called an audible and hit Vince with a stunner in the middle of the ring at WrestleMania 17. Hindsight really is 2020, as Austin chose to shake the chairman's hand and become a heel in one fell swoop. There was absolutely no need for Austin to become a heel during WrestleMania. If you watch the Rumble from 2001, you can tell his babyface persona of being an anti-authority ass-kicker had plenty of steam left. This is the version of Austin that the fans wanted. Austin might have gone on to some great comedy segments with Vince and Kurt Angle in the summer of 2001, but those were the only thing to enjoy about the heel turn. Austin lacked that killer instinct that made him such a valuable babyface. Rather than reinventing himself, the turn caused him to struggle. Guys, it was Austin's decision to turn heel and successfully convinced Vince. Austin proved that it's never a good idea to turn a babyface for the sake of turning them. Number 2. Hulk Hogan, WCW 1999. The New World Order of WCW got a little too big and split into two factions, pitting Kevin Nash and Hulk Hogan on opposing sides. Hogan led the traditional NWO while Nash led the cool NWO Wolfpack. It was inevitable that the two sides would clash. The big showdown between the two leaders would come on the January 4th episode of Monday Nitro. Fans were chomping at the bit to embrace a babyface Hogan, and it was made clear during the course of this episode. Rather than giving the fans what they wanted, WCW decided to ruin the story through the now infamous finger poke of doom. Hogan tapped Nash on the chest, and the big man dramatically sold it and let Hogan pin him. This farce of a match brought the two sides of the NWO together as one. Any of the babyface momentum Hogan had garnered disappeared instantly, and WCW went back to the same old same old. The WCW creative team had ruined the story of babyface Hogan squaring off against his old buddies in the NWO. Number 1. Goldberg WCW 2000. Goldberg should serve as a great example for any promoter thinking it's a good idea to turn a babyface heel just for the sake of it. The badass of WCW flopped more than Austin when he made his heel turn. Nobody wanted to boo Goldberg, the man they'd been cheering as an ass-kicking and entertaining hero. It had been around 6 months since the fans last saw Goldberg power through his opponents when he made his return at the Great American Bash pay-per-view in 2000. The company was in a desperate position, and the fans needed to latch onto someone like Goldberg. Given everything we know about WCW, it should hardly come as a surprise that Goldberg aligned himself with Vince Russo and turned heel at the Bash. Instead of giving Goldberg genuine heel heat for his turn, the fans were just left turned off from the product. Goldberg is the embodiment of a heel turn that should have never happened. He should have just come back as the ass-kicking, guns-blazing badass he always was, rather than becoming another forgotten swerve in the history of WCW. Well guys, that's our list. Can you guys think of any other heel turns that completely flopped? Drop us a comment below and let us know. If you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button to get more videos just like this one, and hit that bell icon to get notified every time we post a new video. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, and as always, thanks for watching.